One of these runs matched the fastest human speedrun. The other went one step further. This model was never shown the route. It never watched a speedrun. It learned by pressing buttons, failing, and trying again. And after more than 100,000 attempts, it found a run that the current world record does not have. But first, it had to discover which direction the level went. I trained a reinforcement learning model to play the first level of Super Mario Bros. The goal was simple: start with no knowledge, learn the level from scratch, and eventually become as fast as possible. Alright, let's have some fun. World 1-1 is probably the most familiar level in video game history. It is also extremely optimized. Speedrunners have spent decades refining nearly every movement: when to accelerate, where to jump, how to enter the pipe, and exactly where to touch the flag. At normal speed, a great run and an exceptional run can look almost identical. The difference might be a slightly earlier jump, a cleaner landing, or reaching the end just before the timer loses another unit. The current any % world record run leaves World 1-1 with 369 on the in-game timer. That became our benchmark, not because the model needed to finish the entire game, but because matching the split would mean it had independently reached genuine world record pace. At the beginning, all of that was very far away. The model learns through reinforcement learning. It receives information from the emulator, Mario's position, his speed, whether he is in the air, and what is nearby. Then it chooses a controller input: move left, move right, jump, run, or, in many early attempts, do absolutely nothing useful. After each action, the emulator advances, and the model receives a reward. Moving farther through the level is good. Reaching new territory is better. Finishing is extremely good. Dying is less good. Over thousands of attempts, actions that lead to more reward become more likely. The model is not planning a speedrun in the human sense. It is repeatedly changing its behavior in favor of whatever produced a better result. In theory, this eventually creates skill. In practice, it first created this. At first, there was no route. There were only many different ways to fail. Some attempts walked left, some jumped in place, some moved right, encountered the first Goomba, and treated the collision as an unavoidable part of the level. One attempt discovered that holding right was useful. Another discovered jumping. It took considerably longer to discover both at the same time. This was the Caveman Phase. The model was not learning elegant movement, it was testing which combinations of buttons allowed Mario to remain alive for slightly longer than before. And this training started to show. Early in training, the ghosts scattered everywhere. Later, they began to overlap. The cloud of Marios was collapsing into a route. The model had started repeating actions that worked. It reached the same pipes, jumped in similar places, and died to increasingly advanced parts of the level. That last point is still progress. Then, after about 5,000 attempts, one run kept going. Thousands of attempts had ended somewhere behind it. This one did not. The model had completed World 1-1. Slowly. Finishing the level was a result. It was not yet a speedrun. But completion changed the experiment. The model no longer needed to discover how to survive the level. Now it could begin removing everything that wasted time. The early completed runs were full of hesitation. Mario slowed down before obstacles, jumped too high, landed without enough speed, and sometimes stopped for reasons known only to the reward function. As training continued, those mistakes gradually disappeared. First completion at 330, then 332, 336, 340. But then improvement slowed down. The model was getting faster, but the surface route appeared to be reaching its limit. To go much further, it needed to discover something new. Every competitive, any % run disappears down this pipe, not because it's a secret, because it's simply faster. The underground section skips a huge portion of the level, and because the in-game timer pauses while Mario travels through the pipes, none of that transition time counts against your result. Instead of running across the entire surface, you're suddenly taking a much shorter path to the flag. Our model didn't know any of that. It had never watched a speedrun. It wasn't told where the shortcut was. It only knew one thing: finish the level as quickly as possible. Then one attempt did something unexpected. Instead of running past the pipe, it went inside. For a moment, it looked like the model had discovered the speedrun route. It hadn't. The underground bonus area is actually a completely different part of the level. The model had never been there before. As far as it was concerned, this might as well have been an entirely new game. So the first few attempts all ended the same way. There was another problem. From the model's perspective, entering the pipe actually looked like a bad decision. Every attempt that went underground died due to timeouts, so reinforcement learning naturally wanted to avoid the pipe altogether. To stop that from happening, I gave the model a small reward simply for entering the warp, not because I wanted to teach it the shortcut, but because I wanted it to spend enough time there to actually learn the new area. Once it finally survived the bonus room for the first time, everything changed. The first completed run using the pipe was dramatically faster than anything the model had produced on the surface. From that moment on, the reward function didn't need any more encouragement. The fastest runs were all coming from the warp route. And reinforcement learning did what it always does. It kept the behavior that worked and slowly optimized every jump, every landing, and every frame until the pipe route became the only route worth taking. The shortcut had been solved. Execution hadn't. At first, every warp run looked different. Some entered the pipe too slowly. Others lost speed underground. Some emerged perfectly, only to give all that time back before the flag. But attempt after attempt, those mistakes disappeared. The timer climbed. Each improvement looked almost invisible. After reaching 367, progress became painfully slow. The model had already optimized the route so well that nothing I tried seemed to push it any further. Part of me was ready to call it there. After all, 367 is already an incredible result for a reinforcement learning model running entirely on a local machine. But another part of me couldn't let it go. We were so close. To really feel satisfied, I wanted to see at least 368, even if that meant starting almost from scratch. You see, to make training fast enough to be practical, I had made one important compromise. Instead of choosing a new controller input every frame, the model only made a decision every 4 frames. That speeds up training dramatically. But it also means the model can only react every 4th frame. At this point, those missing decisions had become the bottleneck. If we wanted to squeeze out those last few timer units, the training wheels had to come off. So, training began again. The new model repeated the same journey, from random button presses to reaching the first Goomba, from surviving the level to discovering the warp. Only this time, everything happened much faster. The model wasn't exploring from scratch anymore. It already had the right tools. Now it just needed finer control. And then, we actually did it. The model had matched the World 1-1 split from the current any % world record run, at least in terms of the in-game timer. I wasn't comparing individual frames, so I can't say whether it was faster or slower within that timer value. But honestly, I was happy. This was exactly what I'd been hoping for. I started writing this video and thought the experiment was over. Then I discovered something that changed everything. While reviewing the recordings, I noticed that our emulator wasn't reacting immediately to controller inputs. On average, Mario didn't respond until roughly half a timer unit later than he should have. That meant every run the model had ever trained had been fighting against unnecessary input delay. So I made one final change. I fixed the delay, started training again, and waited. Eventually, the model produced this. From random button presses to a 370. Not bad for a model that had never played Mario before. Of course, this was only one level. The real challenge is getting through the entire game. So that's the next goal. Training a model that can complete the full any percent speedrun, it's probably going to take a while. But that's a problem for the next episode. Until then, thanks for watching.